Hello friends, welcome to Cold Cafe. This is Asfa. Here we are going to discuss about labor laws. These laws are particularly enacted to protect the employee rights, their welfare, health, safety like that. Why these labor laws has been enacted? Because in the initial stage, during the British rule, on the duration, there is no proper work timings. Employees work for more than 12 hours. There is no leave. Child labor is there. Later, government thought and enacted various labor laws to protect the employees as well as labor. These labor laws had been created for various purposes. Here what I done is, I divided labor law into 4 different parts. The 4 different purposes are there. In these 4 different purposes, what are the laws has been covered? Like employment condition, remuneration, social security and empowerment of women. These are the various purposes. Now we are going to discuss about the purpose of the law, and for that particular purpose, what are the laws has been enacted. First thing is employment condition. For this employment condition purpose, few important laws are there, like Factories Act, Shops and Establishment Act, Contract Labor Act, Industrial Employment and Standing Orders Act, Building and Other Construction Workers Act. In Factories Act, Shops and Establishment, they have been clearly said about the work timing, how many hours they have to work, how many hours an adult person should have to work, and young person means how much hours they have to work, and moreover women's safety and weekly holiday. All these things was properly mentioned in Factories Act as well as Shops and Establishment Act. In Factories Act, they also mention about the health, safety and welfare of the employees. Because in manufacturing sectors, they are working under the heat means how the health condition should have to be properly maintained. The canteen foods. In civil construction means what are the safety equipments they have to wear. Even hazardous process also mentioned in Factories Act. Next is Contract Labor Act. For an example, I am a contract labor. I am working under a contractor. With the help of him, I am just working in a company as a contractor in that company. Whether the Factories Act or Shops and Establishment working under me means surely it won't work. The Factories Act and Shops and Establishment Act works for that particular employee. For me, Contract Labor Act will work for me. So the contractor should have to make sure that my work timing, my foods, my rest days and everything, all this comes under Contract Labor Act. Even for contract labor also, there is a separate act to take care of the health, safety, welfare and various working conditions too. Then as well as for construction purpose, there is a separate law was there, that is Building and Other Construction Workers Act. This is about the employment condition and the labor laws which are all covers under the employment condition. Next thing is remuneration. In this remuneration, we are covering payment of wages, minimum wages, payment of bonus, equal remuneration. Remuneration means the name itself clearly says it's about the salary, overtime wages, bonus and various other kinds. Payment of Wages Act is the first act which was enacted by the government to streamline the wages process. Because before this Payment of Wages Act, what industries have been done is they have been employed all the employees as well as laborers. Once they complete 1 month of the work means the next following month, the first week itself, they have to get their remuneration. But what company have been done is they didn't give the proper salary to the employees. Sometimes they have been deducted various other things, like various things have been occurred. To avoid this, government have been enacted Payment of Wages Act. In this Payment of Wages Act, government have been clearly mentioned within which date you have to pay, like within summer or within 10th you have to pay, and what are things should have to be get deducted in the salary. All these kinds have been mentioned in the Payment of Wages Act. Next thing is Minimum Wages Act. Minimum Wages Act is quite advanced. Payment of Wages Act in 1936, Minimum Wages Act in 1948. What is Minimum Wages Act means? Payment of Wages Act have been amended and it has been worked in all the industries. Industries what they have been done is, okay, I have to pay the wages, but this is not the wages you didn't mention. Like for an example, if I am working, my actual wages 300 rupees means what employee have been done is, okay, I have to pay the wages, right? I can pay only 100 also. Government can't question me because they say payment of wages, they didn't say about the minimum wage. What industries have been done is they took work from the employees and they pay very low wages. Even they can't run their day-to-day activities. So government what they thought is a minimum wage criteria have been fixed for each and every zone, for each and every area. They have been took various data according to their living conditions, their food cost, each and everything have been calculated and they have been made a minimum wage. So what's now is company should have to pay the wage and the company should not pay below this minimum wage. For this purpose, minimum criteria have been amended. Next thing is Payment of Bonus Act. Payment of Bonus Act, once again minimum criteria, like an employee who have been worked for 30 days or more means he is eligible for bonus, and what's the minimum amount for bonus. All these things was properly mentioned in Payment of Bonus Act. Then equal remuneration. Equal remuneration, the name itself clearly says even male or female according to the work you have to pay. You should not go with any discrimination like a higher and lower in salary like that. The work was completed, you have to pay. That was clearly mentioned in Equal Remuneration Act. Next thing is industry relation. Industry relation is the main criteria where industrial harmony will be properly maintained, because on the time employee was more suppressed because the employee can't able to speak and what's their point, what's their suggestions. Employer not able to accept all these kinds in employees. So to avoid this, to maintain an industrial relation, various labor laws was created. That is Industrial Disputes Act as well as Trade Union Act. These two laws are very, very important. In Industrial Disputes Act, they have been clearly mentioned. If there is any dispute, means how you have to properly negotiate, how the conciliation officer should have to come, how we have to go with arbitrator, adjudicator, all these kinds have been clearly mentioned. Trade union also, collective bargaining activities have been carried on between employees and employer. These are the things where it will protect the employees as well as it will give a space that what they need to the employers, so that they will sit in a position and they will negotiate and they will mutually benefit. Next thing is social security. Okay, all the purpose was fulfilled. My employment condition was fulfilled, my salary was coming in a right way, so all these conditions were there. Okay, what's the security for my employment? Now itself, in our current scenario, we have been hearing many recessions like that. Employer are getting retrenchments as well as layoffs. So on the time, employees are in a compulsion to leave their jobs. So employee left their job means what's the safety on what's the security is there. For these conditions, few labor laws are there. Payment of Gratuity Act, Workmen Compensation Act, Employee Provident Fund Act, then ESI Act. First thing is payment of gratuity. For an example, I am working as an employee. I am working in XYZ company for more than 5 years. If I crossed 5 years or more means I am eligible for payment of gratuity. Additional bonus amount if I worked for more than 5 years. For example, after 6 years or 7 years, if I can't able to continue my job, or else if there is any recession means, if I came out of my job means, they will pay a gratuity amount. It will be a much support for our family purpose. That's why payment of gratuity was created. It's actually a motivational purpose. It will create motivation on the employees that if they have been crossed more than 5 years means they will get additional bonus too. Next thing is Workman Compensation Act. Now it has been changed to Employee Compensation Act. Compensation, name itself saying on behalf of this you have to pay some amount. That's a compensation. Here it will mainly work on industries. For example, if I am working in a manufacturing sector, for example, I am just cutting a steel. So while cutting a steel, maybe my finger or else my hand have been cut means they will give the compensation according to my injured purpose. How far I have been disabled, whether my forefinger have been lost, whether my hands have been lost, whether my legs have been lost. According to that, my disablement, they will give my compensation. For this purpose, this employee compensation will work. Next thing is Employee Provident Fund. EPF, even an employee worked for even 1 day also, he is eligible for Provident Fund. Provident Fund is very simple. I am working as an employee. Per day salary is 500 means what employee will do after I finish my work at the end of the day by evening, they will pay my salary. Instead of paying me 500, they will pay me 470 rupees or 450 rupees like that. What they will do, they will deduct a few 30 rupees or 50 rupees and they will pay for Employee Provident Fund, as well as employer also they will pay the same amount for this Provident Fund. They will pay to the government. So each and every day, how many days which I am working, a small amount will be saved in my PF account. Once I lost my job or if I resign my job means the accumulated amount with interest I will get. This is the main purpose for Provident Fund. Next thing is Employee State Insurance. In a simple term, for example, if my health is not good, I've been affected by sickness means I can go and get a treatment in Employee State Insurance. Not like Employee Compensation Act. In Employee Compensation Act, only that particular employee can get the benefit. Whereas in ESI, not only me, my family members also will get the benefit. For an example, if I am married means my wife, my children, my parents. What I will do is I have to take all these members to my ESI office. I have to get as a photograph. They will generate a ESI card. Once I generate a card means I can give it to my family members. If they felt sick means they can go and approach the ESI office and they will get the free treatment as well as free medicines. Okay, this is the main benefit for the employees as well as laborers. Next thing is law related to equity as well as empowerment for women. For this condition, we have been mentioned 2 labor laws here, like equal remuneration as well as maternity benefit. Equal remuneration, already I said, for male and female there should be an equal wage for equal amount of work. That's the main purpose for equal remuneration. In Maternity Benefit Act, a pregnant employee will get the full benefit, that they will get the nursing break, they will get more resting time, as well as at the time of pregnancy they will get the leave as well as they will get the payment. In this Maternity Benefit Act, Paternity Benefit Act is also there. This is about the few important labor laws, and these labor laws, why it's been framed and how it is helpful for the employees. If this information helpful for you means, just give a like and share it with your friends. Do subscribe For any other further content related to this means just drop in the comments. Thank you friends.